Who will our next generation be? What will they achieve? At Proctor Public Schools, we see great things in the future as we create an environment to educate, engage, and inspire our students to seek adventure, gain knowledge, and make a difference. What do we see in the next generation? We see greatness. Proctor Public Schools. Don't just plan to graduate. Graduate with a plan.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular school board meeting of September 13th, 2021. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with the roll call, please.
McDonald.
Here.
Farmeter.
Here.
Peterson. Here. Cockernet.
Here.
Agornik.
Here.
Gelfen. Here. Ward.
Here.
Student liaison members, Cindy Diedrich. Here. Sophia Lawrence Monson. Here. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 4 on the agenda is an approval of the agenda as presented in your packet. There was one addition made to public relations with the news article that was missed initially. It's item number, 11D, number 4. It was from the Duluth News Tribune, masked and ready for class. So no other additions to our agenda. So looking for an approval. Thank you, Larry. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. Does anyone have any questions regarding our agenda tonight? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 5 on the agenda is an approval of the minutes of the regular school board meeting from August 23rd, 2021, sent in your electronic packet. We are looking for a motion.
So moved, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Is there a second? Thank you, Larry. Does anyone have any questions regarding the minutes from our last school board meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to the finance report. Looking for a motion to approve the payment of bills dated September 13, 2021 in the amount of $364,619.77, covering checks 110588 through 110714. Thank you very much, Larry. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lynn. Does anyone have any questions regarding the finance report tonight? I asked mine to Steve earlier.
I have a question, Steve, and I would have called you about it today, but I ran out of time. Is that $270 per calendar year for transportation or per school year? The $270 for trans public carrier, so if they go somewhere else, we give them? Per school year. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for Steve tonight? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to commendations and congratulations. The board would like to commend school secretaries and staff for the job they did getting our back-to-school mailing out to all staff, parents, and guardians. We would also like to commend our entire staff, faculty, and administration for the work in preparation for the start of the new school year. The board would like to thank members and staff of the Proctor Federal Credit Union for their donation of school supplies to Bayview Elementary School. And the board would also like to congratulate John Martin for receiving his accreditation as a Serve Safe Food Safety Instructor. Does anyone else have any commendations or congratulations that should be made tonight for timeliness? Otherwise, just do remember that you can always offer them to Lori before the packet comes out. It was to the secondary side. Thank you for that clarification. Anything else? Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to public participation. Public participation occurs during our school board meeting. This meeting is a meeting in the public. It is not a public meeting. The public participation portion of our meeting is a time where we offer an opportunity for members of the public to address the board. Once we move from public participation, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the board. As a general rule, the board will listen to the members of the public, but will not comment on or respond to any comments made by speakers. The board will not engage in dialogue, though any board member may ask questions. Please do not include the names of Proctor Public School employees, their title, or building location in your remarks for your own legal protection and the legal rights of our staff. Issues related to school district employees can be made in writing and can be directed to the Human Resources Department at Proctor Public Schools. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may not roll their time to another speaker. If you choose to speak tonight, please begin your presentation by stating your name, including the spelling slowly for our clerk, and who you represent if applicable. In the spirit of fairness to all participants, we request that you respect this format. Thank you for taking the time today to attend this meeting and to share your concerns. I don't have a sign-up list that anyone used tonight. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board? Anyone? Okay. We'll move from public participation then, and we'll go into consent agenda if that's okay. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in your packet.
So moved, Parmeter.
Thank you very much. Kim, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Does anyone have any questions regarding the consent agenda? It is lengthy, as it usually is at the beginning of the school year. Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion carries. We'll move on to item number 10, items for individual action. Item number 10A, in accordance with Minnesota Statute 123B.195, disclose that board member Jennifer McDonald will be employed as a substitute registered nurse for the 2021 through 2022 school year for Proctor Public Schools. We are looking for a motion to approve this. Thank you, Larry. Is there a second? Thank you, Lynn. Does anyone have any questions regarding this statutory disclosure? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will be. Those opposed? Abstention? Aye. Or I suppose it would be abstain. My apologies. All right. Item number 10B, approve a recommendation from the Policy Committee to rescind Policy 808 masking. The current masking mandate is covered under our Rail-Safe plan. Additionally, Policy 808 references executive orders that are no longer relevant or in effect. To be clear, our mask policy remains in place. There are no changes being made at this time. This is just attending to a policy that isn't covered by statute. Looking for a motion.
So moved, Joe.
Thank you very much, Joe. Is there a second? Thank you, Larry. Does anyone have any questions or clarifications that you'd like answered regarding that policy? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 10C, accept the letter of retirement from Superintendent John Engelking effective September 17, 2021. Looking for a motion? Thank you, Larry. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Joe. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that motion carries. Congratulations, Superintendent, on your retirement. Item number 10D, approve a recommendation from the Individual Contract Committee to hire John Engelking as the interim superintendent until a suitable replacement is found effective September 19, 2021. Looking for a motion.
So moved, Joe.
There's a motion by Joe. Is there a second? Thank you, Larry. Does anyone have any questions tonight? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 10E, approve a recommendation from the Check and Connect Hire Committee to hire John Engelking as the South St. Louis County Check and Connect Coordinator effective September 19, 2021. This is a grant-funded position. We are looking for a motion. Thank you very much, Larry. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 10F, approve the 2021 through 2022 School Resource Officer contract between ISD 704, Proctor Public Schools, and the City of Proctor. We are looking for a motion. I heard Lynn, if that's okay. All right, is there a second?
I'll second that. Parmeter?
Thank you very much, Kim. Any questions at all? I asked Chief Gatis to be here to answer any questions if anyone had any. This might be the first time you've had a chance to review the contract that's in place right now for some of you. The only red line change that was made is for the academic calendar year. Chief, is that correct? You can approach.
Yes, I believe that's the only thing that's really been changed.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Shelton.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, Chief, and if I could, I'd like to recommend that instead of doing this every year, the next time we come around to this, we look for a long-term contract so we can have something in place and we're not doing it right after the school year starts or right before it starts.
I concur, that would be nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you
And
again.
one thing I do have is that Officer Rebo is going to go to NASRO training at the end of this month. So he will be attending that. So we found a class that he can go to.
Okay, great.
Okay?
You'll have coverage in the school with another officer then?
Well, if he need be, because it'll be, technically he's off that time period, but we will have an officer that's available. But it's a week-long class and it's all online, so.
Okay.
So, but at least we've been able to find a class and he can go, so, and it's benefits of obviously us and you because they have policies, procedures and everything to follow that he can learn from too.
Great.
Okay?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks.
All right. With a motion and a second, does anyone have any other questions? Hearing none, then, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on then to items for discussion and information. Item number 11A, Superintendent Updates. John?
Sure. Good evening. Well, school's off and running. I know. The Mallet is in full gear. I paid my $3 subscription for the year. That's ridiculous. Sydney, you guys have got to raise that price a little bit, don't you think?
I thought it was cheap too.
Some of us have been trying to get Nate to do that for about 15 years. And you could add to your donation. I did.
Well, I was scrambling for change for a 20. I should have just given him the 20.
Just
I
left
feel
the blank
bad now.
check
Stop
there.
back over. Sydney, I'll help you out. So, we have 12 new teachers, 19 new staff members district-wide. And thank everybody for participating in our welcome back. It was exciting to see kids arrive on campus. It was, and every day it's nice seeing kids on campus, outside. It's just, after a year of just kind of trying to figure out how to do school in the midst of mandates and executive orders, it's just nice that we're running our schools and we're taking care of our kids. Gina Cole has met with our interventionists. Well, we have 2 interventionists at the middle school and 4 at Bayview Elementary and 1 at Pike Lake. And those interventionists, they're part of a program called ADSIS. You might hear ADSIS every now and again. ADSIS stands for Alternative Delivery of Instructional Services. And those instructional services are designed to help kids who might not be at grade level, and not in special education, but just for some reason, maybe there was some unfinished learning. Those interventionists are there to help our kids. And so that's a grant that we applied for about 6 years ago. We continue to get that, and Gina Cole leads that. So Gina, thank you for all your hard work on that. We're beginning benchmark assessments this fall with the help of our leadership teams and our principals and Gina. Pathways have begun at the high school. We have a new program called Rail Path, and it's focused for college and career so students can build their personal learning plans. And Tim, congratulations on taking this program to the heights that it is. It's a centerpiece of what our high school is, and a lot of other schools try to, come to us for advice and try to emulate what we do. We do have 2 new outdoor classrooms at our elementary schools, and they're absolutely outstanding. And we're going to focus a lot on outdoor education for FIAD this year, and in those classrooms for elementary. And I know that our secondary are doing the same thing. I just want you to also be aware that we were awarded a tutoring grant, and we're finalizing that right now. And those tutors will be working with Christina Otten in special education. It'll be an after-school program. Management and leadership. Our Rail Safe committee met to review changes in isolation and quarantine procedures, and shared that out with all the board and our staff members and our community. So I think, and especially Anthony, so that we have some consistency in what we do with athletics and what we do in our classrooms. And just on an aside, trying to manage contact tracing, notifying our communities has become kind of a pretty big job for Carly. So we're working on developing a COVID coordinator, kind of a 6th position, another assignment that can oversee the entire district. And we met today as an administrative team, Steve and Carly and our principals, especially at the middle school. And I think we have some ideas moving forward that are really going to help us be better at communicating, be better at taking some of the pressure off our health services, and just overall just be a little bit better conduit to sending information out. And so that'll be coming in the next couple of weeks. I'll be sharing that with operations as well. I held our annual Superintendent Leadership Council. We usually call it the cabinet meeting, but honestly, I think it was a little pretentious. It's all the directors and all the principals and all the coordinators who work in our district and all the presidents of our unions come together to talk a little bit about the commonality that we all have in educating our kids. And so that's always a good meeting, and I look forward to that. Our administrators are meeting with Aptigee to develop Thrill Share, which will be our new digital presence. We'll have a new web page and a brand new communication tool and app for your phone. And we'll be rolling that out in the upcoming months. And the end of October is our kind of targeted date, maybe Thanksgiving at the very latest, where we'll have a brand new digital presence. But tomorrow, or Friday, we're meeting to talk a little bit more about what Thrill Share would be. And I shared our vision for what that web page, our home page, might look like. And I think they've got some really, really good designs. So I'll look forward to that. Jody Farr was here for our welcome back. And I had a chance to get a book review from Sydney Heydrich on the book that, I'm just kidding, Sydney. Sydney said, I started reading it, but it's a little boring. And so, yeah, academic stuff is not the most thrilling read, but maybe Sophie found it more exciting. All right, but I did promise that would be one of your honors books, Mr. Roweter. So.
I did finish it. So
Oh, there you go.
get through it, yeah.
Well, very good. So Jody's going to be coming back, and we think she does a great job. I've been working with our individual contracts. It's a committee that's Larry and Joe, and Amy is an alternative on that. We had 11 contracts that needed to be finalized, and so I think we brought 7 or 8 today, and thank you for approving those. For facilities and transportation, the Pike Lake message board should be up within a couple of weeks, so we'll look forward to that. We are working on a new Wi-Fi system between here, Eggerdahl, and transportation, and there's a couple of things that we still need to finalize. We will have ice next week, I think, Anthony? He's way out there?
Thumbs up.
So I look forward to that, and he's just working on some new ice art underneath the advertising underneath the sheet of ice. As far as community involvement, I just want to thank our city administrator and the chief of police for meeting with me, talk a little bit about our SRO contract. We didn't change too much. We left the price the same for this year, and I think we're all in agreement with Joe that we'd like to see a little bit more commitment to a longer commitment on behalf of the city and the school. And then our administrative team, Lynn and Jennifer and I attended that health consult together to talk about isolation and quarantine. I want to thank you for that. And then, of course, we had a lot of press that wanted to see our first day of school. So we saw WDIO was out, transportation, and Fox News was in our back door talking to our principal. Thanks for that. So that's kind of a look at what's happening around the district.
Right?
Sorry. Yeah, John Awesome. He was on. John Awesome was on the front page of the Duluth Trib. The only problem with that, John, is that it was below the fold. next time we'll try to get that above the fold, and we'll be giggling. So, I mean, I was there taking pictures at the exact same time that the Duluth News Tribune and Jake was there. And John was just so warm and welcoming for those kids, so thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Does anyone else have items from the superintendent update that you'd like John to elaborate on a little bit more? All right.
One comment, John said that the Malay was in full gear, but if anybody knows the Malay, I'm pretty sure it was full steam ahead.
Oh.
Good one.
Like, has anyone got the trombone? Thanks, Joe. We'll move on then to item 11B with an update on COVID-19. Do you have any updates for us, John?
No, the infection rate is in our region is rising a little bit, but nothing outlandish. It's still shared what those infection rates were. So we're keeping an eye on infection rates, especially in speaking with Aubrey, our St. Louis County health advisor. She's got a title, but I'm not quite sure exactly what it means, correct? One thing we are doing is we're working on testing and trying to figure out how we can best serve our staff and students with testing. So we're going to be applying for a grant to assist us with Q testing. It's CUE. Q testing is for students under the age of 18 who can take advantage of that. It's a rapid molecular PCR test. And then we're also trying to get some other PCR tests for our staff. We do have a lot of bulk tests from last year, but those are saliva tests, and you have to do it in front of somebody. The Department of Health and Education have allowed all of those bulk tests from last year, and they expired in January 1, to be Zoomable. So if our staff has them and they want to stay home and take one of those bulk tests, they can Zoom in with Carly or somebody and administer the test over video and send it in. So that's the only thing that's really on my radar as far as testing. Jen, you might know more about it.
Oh, I know a lot about it. Yeah, I will just say that testing is becoming challenging to obtain, especially rapid testing. Suppliers, there's been a huge problem with supply and demand, so it is challenging for most hospitals to conduct rapid PCR testing.
I know the DEC still is doing that. You can call and make an appointment, and they're still running those, I think, 3 days a week.
So even for any of our patients who are having, unless it's emergent, urgent surgery, you have to have your test done 3 days ahead of time. So it's just becoming that challenging. So I hope it gets better, because that'll impact, I imagine, some of our supply abilities, abilities for our students to have rapid testing. It's just unavoidable. So that's all I know. John, regarding our 3-week kind of check back after the start of the school year regarding masks, would that be at a rail-safe meeting, or are we just going to I'd want to be attentive to the fact that we said give it 3 weeks into the school year?
We weren't thinking about having a real estate meeting Wednesday, but we certainly could.
So this is week 2, so
Yeah.
we're just week 2 so far. So week 3 would be after next week?
So we'd probably have a real estate meeting the following, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday.
Right, which would be after our next board meeting, just, timing of
It'd be
things, right?
before.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It'd be perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So then, okay.
That's the 26th.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, if I could,
Please.
along with that, John, as we have our conversations with Aubrey, and this is early in the game, I've seen the numbers, but I would like the county to kind of give us a recommendation of, as we see the numbers start to decline, what we can get to, which would be a good number to start opening things up a little bit. So if they could start thinking about that and working on that, and maybe questioning the Mayo and the CDC and people that they talk to, and find out what the recommendation would be on that, that would be very helpful.
Done.
All right. Anything else? Okay, item number 11C, 2022 MSBA Leadership Conference at the Minneapolis Convention Center is slated for January 13th and 14th. They plan on it being in person. So if you are planning on attending, please reach out to Lori and let her know that you'll be attending and if you'll be staying overnight so that she can make arrangements for a hotel room so that you can attend both the first day and the second day. I haven't seen an agenda really at all, so I have no idea the content, but it's always been a nice time to go, lots of good opportunities for learning. It'll be interesting, you know, after a year of virtual stuff, what comes out, you know, as far as what the program looks like, I guess. I'm trying not to, I'm trying to be attentive to the microphone as I look around. I'm just trying to look at everyone, so. Yeah, I guess just let Lori know your thoughts. For right now, I'm undecided. I'll just say that. You know, some of us have to take time off of work and things, so just kind of have to look at your schedules and what it looks like.
So if you're thinking about it, best, you know, make the reservation. We can always cancel the reservation because if we plan on staying relatively close to the convention center, I would recommend we stay at the Hilton. If we don't do it right away, then we end up at the Millennium. So if we can stay at the Hilton, that'd be the best. They're all the same price. It's just proximity to everything.
So easier to cancel than it is to try to get on the list.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I think last time that we thought that we were going to have an in-person MSBA conference, we asked Lori to make reservations right away for the number of rooms that we could use if we all go, and then we can cancel them, and I think we should do that.
I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
I'll talk to Lori.
All right. So then just make sure that each board member is circling back with Lori when you have a definitive answer so she can cancel. And we'll have to make sure Lori gives us that cancellation date so that we can make sure that we do back off of it and kind of like your final call.
The MASA conference is held in Duluth this year, and they're full in person. The end of September.
All right.
So, yeah,
At the deck or?
yeah. They go back and forth between well, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's over in Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center.
Earl
Marriott
Brown?
North.
At Earl Brown?
What?
At Earl Brown?
No. It's a convention center. It's right up here.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for that, Joe, also, just so that we can make sure we all get a room and that half of us aren't one place or the other. We've had a couple of interesting years of travel. All right. Right. All right. Item number 11D, Public Relations Update. Items relating to the district from the Proctor Journal. Let's see here, August 26th edition, the September 2nd edition. All had items relating to back to school for our district. September 9th edition, of course. Items relating to the district from Fox 21 News, September 7th edition, Proctor rails back with in-person classes. From WDIO, transportation bus driver shortages was highlighted. And the addition to our agenda tonight, September 8th edition of the Duluth News Tribune, masked and ready for class. I would like to just bring to your attention that the K-12 education news from MSBA clippings featured a link to a Duluth News Tribune article where Nate Johnson was interviewed, and it's a really nice piece talking about how teachers are talking about September 11th education in classrooms, and just a really nice piece, just talking about how it's different for all of us, and some of these kids weren't even, and they all weren't. None of these kids right now were born, so. But just a really nice piece, and I made sure I brought that to Nate's attention and John and Lori. So we'll add that to the clippings for next time, but just when you get a chance, go ahead and read it. It was in the print,
Yeah,
okay.
it was.
So I didn't catch it then, so it was nice to see it there. Fun to be highlighted in our statewide, informationals. Anything else? All right, moving on then to reports. Item number 12A, School Board Committee reports. Anything to add?
I just want to add that the policy committee will meet, it will meet the next board meeting. And the reason is because there have been a lot of legislative changes, and those come up every year, and so we have to go back and change some of the policies. So those on the policy committee, just keep that in mind, that will be a meeting. And Lori will send you the packet with all the changes.
Dang, I thought we were done.
We're not, no, we're not done.
We just had summer off, I know.
No,
I know,
no.
you gave us a break.
It will be September, October, and November.
Sure, that's fine.
So just to give you a heads up.
Sure thing.
You can plan your life.
Thank you. All right.
5 o'clock.
It is.
I
All
don't
right.
see you.
You will?
I don't.
Oh, I was going to say, wow.
Gina does, I don't. Curriculum advisory does, I do not.
All right. Enrollment report for September 2021 is in your packet. If you have any questions at all? Well, fine. All right. I don't have the number, I don't have internet onto my device right now. Can anyone just update?
1897.
Okay, thank you.
1997, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Kim. All right. Communications, item number 13, school board comments and observations. We'll start with any school board celebrations.
I can go first. With John retiring, I think we all appreciate the work that he has done over the past 12 years, and having a superintendent for 12 years is a long time. And we all appreciate the work and the initiatives that you have created. And as you go into your new position, we appreciate that you are willing to fill in as an interim superintendent until we can find somebody to fill that position. And we know how difficult it will be to maneuver check and connect and the superintendency, so just know that the board appreciates that. That being said, I think that we should possibly form a subcommittee of board members to look at what this looks like. If we were to hire an interim, before the end of the school year, so that we could, free some time up for you and look at what that position might look like. So that's just an observation or recommendation. I don't know what you want to call it, but. And then bring that proposal to the next board meeting so that we understand the direction that we plan to take.
I'll add to that, Lynn, by just, I reached out to MSBA again today, and just asking a little bit. They have a workshop available called Hiring the Right Superintendent. I think we have a huge job in front of us, and the most important job that we will ever do is hiring a superintendent. And so this is not a quick and easy process. It takes quite a while. And so they offer a workshop where they talk about topics like whether or not to use a consultant or to do the work on our own, setting a timeline, qualifications and selection criteria, involving stakeholders and the media, dealing with internal candidates, legal pitfalls, do's and don'ts of interviewing, deliberating in public, and just some question and answers. It's about a 2-hour-ish workshop, and she has some availability to come and do this in person if COVID-related infection rates and such are still admissible for that. She can do this on October 18th, which is an off Monday board meeting, off board meeting Monday, or November 1st if we wanted to have her come and do that in person. And then she would always be available to default to an online format if needed. I just think it'd be good for us to get together and just have a workshop training in person and just have some good dialogue. I think we'd get better engagement that way. We get a workbook, and she'll work through some of those things. And that's just for hiring the right superintendent permanent. But I think that's a nice segue for us into how we plan on moving forward. I'll be real honest, this is going to be a huge undertaking for this board, and it will take us a while to move through that process. As far as what Lynn suggested, I don't know that we can handle both things at once. I don't think that it's, I just think that we have a huge task to take on, and if we're just going to be starting this in October, November, I think that we need to focus our energies on hiring John's predecessor permanently. But I'm open to conversations.
I would suggest we go for the October 18th so we can get moving on it.
Can anyone just want to get back to me on that, just to check your calendars otherwise? I know we've got fall sports and things that interfere, but
if everybody seems to be in agreement with it, just schedule it up for October 18th if we can.
Okay.
And we'll just have to make arrangements to be there. That's a Monday, you said?
It is a Monday.
Most of us are available on Mondays, it seems.
Yep. Okay.
But I'd like to add, I agree with you, Jen. When I've talked to different board members from different districts about the process, it is a lot of work, and there are a lot of legal guidelines that we have to be governed by. So we are going to need guidance from MSBA on this, and we are going to have to do it correctly. Follow the pattern that they've established for most districts across the state. So I think this is a good start. And just a start. It's going to be long.
And I agree with the permanent replacement, but I do think we could also explore an interim in the meantime. It's a different process, and we've done that in our district before. We've had interim superintendents where we've been through that. So I just to explore what that might look like.
Yeah, we've had interim superintendents, but we haven't flopped interims for an interim for an interim. I mean, we've got to, like Jen said, I think our goal needs to be focused on going and getting a permanent superintendent. And I think that's what we need to put our efforts towards.
And I think that's ideal, and that's what the 18th is for, but I think we need to explore what an interim might look like with John starting another position, that we need to explore what that looks like. And at least bring that information back to the board. But that's up to the rest of the board. That's just my suggestion.
Does 6 o'clock work for everyone, or
That's fine.
6 o'clock? Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, and then I'll check and see if this building's available, or would anyone have a different suggestion? Okay. All right, so I'll make sure that we can have this room here. And the 18th, she said she'd keep open, so I'll just circle back with her tomorrow then on that, okay? Thank you. Yeah. Oh. All right. Thank you, Steve.
Is it a special meeting, or is it a board workshop?
It's a board
It's a
workshop.
board workshop. No, it's not. But we still post it, but it's not.
So it wouldn't necessarily need a motion, then it'd just be posted accordingly? Okay. All right.
Lynn, just so I understand you correctly, because you're kind of the concern over the two positions, right, at the same time? Okay. Just so I understand what you're talking at the 18th.
Okay.
So put some thoughts together and,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Any other comments from board members?
Yes, I have one. So after our last meeting, I did a lot of thinking and I watched the tape a few times. And the 10A was approved the 2021-2022 rail safe plan return to school. It was immediately motioned by Joe and then there was a second. But prior to even getting to that, Kim had asked if we could separate the two. Put the rail safe plan as one item and then have the options A and B as a second item, and that was declined, stating that we would discuss it. There was a lot of discussion. There was a lot of discussion between the board. There was discussion from the crowd. And we went with option 1. So we approved the rail safe plan as it was. I have a real hard time with how that played out. And then immediately after it was approved, there was a comment said that maybe next meeting we should look at that number again. All of this could have been avoided if we look at changing our policy to stating we do discussion before we make a motion. I looked it up in Robert's rules. It's completely a legitimate possibility. Also, when looking at the tape, when we started talking about the number, I had asked if we should withdraw the motion on the table, was told we didn't, and technically we should have. So another reason we should have the discussion prior to the motions. So that's just a suggestion I would make to the board.
I would agree. I pulled out my Robert's Rules of Order as well, and I thought that was, I know it was met with, no, there's no real need to separate those, but I absolutely see good rationale for having done that. And
We know
thank
this
you for
is,
speaking up on
yeah,
it.
this is there's a passionate topic, whichever side you're in. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care which side you're in, it's just the concept that it just didn't feel right to me. And I'm one of the board members, so I can't imagine how it felt to the public.
Do most people have a working board meeting where they have those discussions in a separate meeting and then move to the meeting where then
It's all
they go
how you
ahead?
want to do your policy, so you can change your policy to be discussion before a motion. They generally don't do that because it can make a board meeting longer, but I think for some of the topics that we are having to cover right now, in order to make sure that we have clear and concise conversation before a motion is made.
All right.
So I guess I'd wonder what other people's thoughts are on the board about that.
At the school board, we haven't done that, but a lot of the city and county meetings, what they call the meeting before the meeting, that's when your discussion is. So I guess we'd have to look at what way we want to do it. If we want to stay the way we are, if we want to, we'll have to be probably to our town, right? We can't have discussion until the motion. That's just
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I understand having the meeting beforehand, but then I think it kind of doesn't allow the public to hear what, we can't hear what they have to say before we've already discussed what our decision is going to be, or what we've talked about. So I think in efforts to be transparent with the public to gain their trust, this is something that we would have to do in front of them, my personal opinion.
I watched the Cloquet school board meeting from the same night that we had ours. And they have their working meeting, and then they move to a regular board meeting right afterwards, where then they offer the public to come in. And it was all televised, and all on the same, kind of just rolled one meeting right into the other. So that would be the possibility there. I know Duluth does they have a whole different process just because of the size of their district. But I believe they have a working meeting on Tuesday, or is it working meeting Monday and then board meeting Tuesday? It's a lot of consecutive meetings for that same thought on that. But I hadn't considered it at all.
Yeah, I think once you have the motion on the table, the discussion gets truncated a bit. Just becomes stifled, and that's the direction we're moving forward without quality discussion. And we had really good discussion at our last meeting. So yeah, I would be in favor of looking at that, especially for some of these more visible issues. Things like that. I think that would be good. Thank you for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in order to change the order that we do our meetings in, we'll have to have a motion on that at a meeting, and then a discussion on that, to change the order in which we do our meetings. Because like Larry said, this is the order we do our meetings. And when we decide to change that order, it takes motions and votes in order to do such.
I understand. I wasn't expecting it to change right away, but I do want to bring awareness to, I mean, I think if you guys even watch it, you might see it too, just how it kind of appeared and sounded.
We could bring it back at another meeting for discussion and Joe says,
Can we make a plan for that for next meeting?
Yeah, that's
As an agenda item?
Sure.
Okay,
No problem.
thank you.
Yeah. Do you have notes for Lori started? I usually have my Post-it notes plastered around my office, and I plunk them off like a tree. Like leaves on a tree. All right. Thank you for doing that. That'll be September 27th then.
Is that for discussion?
Items for discussion. Just with board comments and observations and celebrations, I was able to, I try very hard to take the first day or two off of school, just, and to try to get to all of our schools. I visited at the high school during open house night and popped in and said hello to as many people as I could, and it's so good to see everybody. And open house was so well received at the secondary site. I think teachers said, I've never seen this many people here and excited to learn, and the energy was just incredible. It was so good. And likewise, I swung through Bayview as teachers were readying their classrooms with the last minute preparations, and just said hello, and I'm so glad to see you, and welcome back. And I just buzzed around, and it was so good to see teachers just doing those last final touches in their classrooms. And Pike Lake as well. I didn't get there till Wednesday because you can only be in one place at one time. But it was really, really nice to be able to get up there and just visit with them. And, the kindergarten teachers were getting their, still getting their classrooms ready, of course. And then those first 2 days is when the teachers meet and have individual conferencing with their new kindergarten students and families. So those families were entering the building, and it was so good to see those littlest learners just ready to be there and so excited. So I know the school year, it has had some challenges with getting things just so, but it was so nice to see the kids just so ready to be there. So that's that.
Yeah, to top that off, it was nice to see the school buses driving around the neighborhood and everything too, and stopping and picking up kids, and you're waiting behind with the flashing lights, and you can see all of them getting on there. It was fun to see.
Any other board comments and observations?
I think this has been peppered throughout the conversation this evening, but John, congratulations. Congratulations, and exciting things moving forward for you.
All right. Student liaison board member comments.
I just wanted to say we had a good first week of school. It was exciting to be back. I know Sydney and I were super excited. And congratulations to John on your retirement. You've been with us for pretty much our entire school, or literally the whole way through for us. So congratulations, and we're excited on what you'll do next. And yeah, it's been exciting. Our sports teams have been doing well. So our girls soccer team is 2-2 right now. We're on a winning streak, so hopefully that lasts. Our game today got canceled, so I got to be here, but yeah, it's exciting. It's good to be back, so thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, John. Yeah, I feel like everybody's really excited to be back. Like, I haven't heard anybody really complain so far, which is good. We're just happy, and like, all the teachers have been really nice about easing us into the pattern again, and they haven't just thrown a bunch of work at us like I know some of my friends from other schools have. They came home on the first day with like all this homework, which we haven't gotten that, and I'm very thankful for that.
Sorry.
I haven't heard any complaints about masks, so I guess that's a plus too. Everybody just said, yeah, we'll wear it if we have to, as long as we're in school, which I was very happy to hear. So yeah, I was really excited to be back, so hopefully it stays this way.
Thank you. All right. Any township or city communications?
I think the interesting point that Sophie made is he started when they were in kindergarten. That's pretty interesting.
It's all they've ever known.
They're still young. They're still young. Sorry, John, I can't give you that one.
That is really interesting. The more I thought about it, when you said that, I'm like, I can't even remember anyone before John. I had a little one in kindergarten then. Huh. It sure did.
Diane started with me too.
All right. Any township or city communications tonight other than what we've already discussed? All right. Hearing none. Item number 14, looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Is there a second?
I'll second it,
All
Carmen.
right. Thank you, Kim. Any questions? All right. We are adjourned. Oh, hold on. I forgot to do.
Aye.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed. And we are adjourned at 8 o'clock.
Who will our next generation be? What will they achieve? At Proctor Public Schools, we see great things in the future as we create an environment to educate, engage, and inspire our students to seek adventure, gain knowledge, and make a difference. What do we see in the next generation? We see greatness. Proctor Public Schools. Don't just plan to graduate. Graduate with a plan.